The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewing. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
All right, guys, welcome to this week's Habit-Based Lifestyle and Business Show. Today, we're going to be talking specifically about breaking free of a broken mindset. And what do I mean by broken mindset? I really mean someone who may be stuck in the way that they think. They may be stuck in, just the type of words they're using. They may be stuck in an area of life and they don't know how to break free of that. But what I'm going to do today is walk you through a practical way on how you can actually break free of any mindset stuff that you got going on, and really how to break it down into a simplified process to really understand what you're doing from a habit perspective. So this could ultimately be, and I really believe that a lot of the mindset stuff we deal with, whether we're a businessman, business owner, or, husband, father, leader, businessman, wife, mom, whatever that is, I really believe that you can get a lot out of this. But I also believe that this is an opportunity for you to really look at yourself and find areas where you got to break free of. You got to break free of a broken mindset, but you can do it in a way that I'm going to teach you some framework that makes it really unique, really different, but also really easy for you to understand how to do it. And rather than, feeling like you need some coach to help you break free, I can teach you this framework and teach you how to break free of it yourself, which ultimately makes this that much more powerful is when I can empower you to be able to do this to yourself. You are now empowered, and you now have the power and you have the access to break free of anything, on your own, or at least walk yourself through how to do it for yourself. And so, if you're watching this live right now, maybe hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. But this is a way for you, to do this with yourself. And so I want to share. I'm going to open up the sharing on my screen. And I want to really just dive into this and see how we can ultimately, walk you through this, and actually set you free. So let's get into this. So number one is let's talk about, many of the things that we have, as an entrepreneur. It's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to feel the fear. It's easy to worry. It's easy to stress. But I want you to know that these are all the triggers that go on in our life as an entrepreneur, business owner. And I mean, really, I speak from that place because I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, but, I really think of everybody in their life. They own some type of business. They just may not look at themselves as a business owner. And so if you're a mom, your business is being a mom. If you're a stay-at-home mom, your business is a CEO mom. Even if you have another job, you get paid in, but like we all have a business that we operate. And some of us, it's at home. Being a CEO mom, a wife. Some of us, it's being a husband, father, leader. And so we all have a business to run. And the business oftentimes is the business that you may get paid on, or you may not get paid on. But either way, we all have similar things. We all worry, we all get discouraged, we all feel fear, we all get stressed. But what I want to do is teach you how to reverse engineer those things and turn them into the opposite, how to break free of this. And so if we start with the results that we want, and many times, you guys, if you watch a lot of the work that I do, is I always start with the results and begin to reverse engineer from there. And so I really got to get clear on the results that I want. And so one thing that I see a lot of times with business owners is they know what they don't want more than what they do want, and they can't figure out why they continue to get what they don't want. And so what does that mean? That means if I'm not clear on my vision of where I'm going, the results that I want, if that's smaller than my current circumstance, I will stay stuck in my current circumstance. And so, you heard the verse that says, "Hey, without vision, people perish." But the perish is really us staying stuck in our worry, in our discouragement, in our fear, in our stress, in our ability to not move out of the place that we're currently in. And so not having a vision keeps us stuck in our current circumstance, not having the results that we want. So just think of vision as the results that we want, but they're greater, far greater than, the current circumstance that we're in. So if your current circumstance is worry, discouragement, fear, stress, that is the current results that you're in. And if you don't have a vision that you can see greater than those things, you will stay stuck in them. And so a lot of times, the season that we've been in for the last, year to 14 months, 15 months is, maybe some of you, your current circumstance is your marriage isn't working. And it's in a place, in a season, it's been in a season and place where there's a lot of discouragement, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety. But I really want to talk to you today about that. That may be your current circumstance, but it doesn't have to be your future, marriage. And so you may feel stuck in where you're at right now in your marriage, but that's your current circumstance. But you got to have a vision that's greater than that. You got to have a vision greater than being stuck or feeling discouraged in your marriage, or you're going to continue to stay in that place. No different than if my current circumstance is I'm out of shape, I'm overweight. If that's my current circumstance and I don't have a vision that's beyond that place, I'm going to stay stuck in my current circumstance. Even in my business, let's say I'm financially in hardship. I'm in debt, $150,000 in debt. If my vision is not bigger than that current circumstance, is $150,000 in debt, I'm going to stay stuck in debt. And yesterday I received a thing from one of the clients inside of Habit-Based Lifestyle, and it was like, "Hey, when I joined your program," and he showed like, "Hey, I was $150,000 in debt. I was making $15,000 a month, and I was depressed. I was ready to almost give up on my chiropractic practice." And this same person 6 months later is completely debt free. They're making averaging about $50,000 a month from 15. Not only that, but they're investing into the future of what they're building. And they've been able to break free of their current circumstance. And so I want to show you how to do that same thing. And so today you have that same opportunity to do that. And so start with the results. So you have current results and you have the vision of what it is that you want. There's nothing wrong with knowing the current results. Maybe the current results are you are $150,000 in debt, but the vision is I see a future where I'm debt free. I see a future where my practice or my business is making $50K a month. I see a future where we open up the floodgates in my community, in my business, where we have an abundance of clients. But like, I have to realize that if that's going to be my vision, I'm going to have to change the vocabulary. I'm going to have to change the routine. I'm going to have to change the reaction that I begin to show up with. And so it's easy in your current circumstance to be discouraged. It's easy to wake up every day and feel the weight and pressure as a business owner, as a wife, husband, leader, father, businessman, mom, dad, whatever that is. When you're staring down $150,000 in debt, it's easy to feel the worry. It's easy to feel discouraged. It's easy to feel doubt. It's easy to feel the fear. It's easy to feel the stress. So whatever time of day you feel that, what you want to look at is like, man, what is the vision that I have for myself? And so we have to change the reaction. How am I reacting when I feel the worry, discouragement, stress, fear? And in between this place is how I start changing and recognizing. I have to begin to recognize what's actually going on. Because when I can recognize and become aware of what's going on, I can begin to change the reaction. Maybe my normal reaction is to, get the worry, get the fear, get the stress. My normal reaction is to maybe go to depression or get stuck in, my own pain. The problem with pain is when we stay stuck in pain, when we feel pain, we often shut down. But the thing that I've learned about pain is the fastest way to get out of pain is to share. Share your pain. Pain shared is pain divided. Not only that, but our other thing is we have to turn our pain into power. The only way that we can begin to do that is to begin to push that pain into power, which is turning it on to somebody else. And so think about, once I recognize, the trigger is, maybe I wake up first thing in the morning and I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling discouraged. I'm feeling the fear of this, financial debt that I'm under. And I immediately go to a place of, okay, what am I doing as far as reacting? What is my reaction to this? And I'm feeling the pain. And if I feel the pain, I got to either share it, and I have to take that pain. Once I share it, I start turning it into power. And so this is where we begin to feel the power. We feel the pain. We turn it into power. And by us doing that, we create a new routine. So old routine, get depressed, close off. And new routine is I reach out to 5 people and I encourage them. So maybe up here, I wake up, I'm discouraged. I wake up, I'm feeling stress. I'm feeling fear. Whatever it is. My new routine is I reach out to 5 people. If I'm feeling discouraged, I encourage them. If I'm feeling fear, I reach out to 5 people and I leave them a message of faith. My new routine is really the positive opposite versus, the other side. Maybe typically the negative thing is I hang on to the discouragement at the routine. I hang on to the stress. I hang on to the fear, and I let it eat away at me. And that ultimately the results I'm getting is I'm staying stuck in the same place. The only way I'm going to be able to turn that pain into power is to divide the pain, share the pain, or do the positive opposite, which is still kind of sharing the pain, if you think about this. So as you look at this, if I'm feeling discouraged, I'm going to encourage 5 people. If I feel fear, I'm going to, give 5 people faith. If I'm feeling stress, if I'm feeling worry or doubt, I'm going to give people, certainty or confidence. Okay. And I'm going to do the positive opposite. And that means that I got to reach out to 5 people. Now, you may not even feel like it, but at the same time, imagine if you encourage 5 people when you're feeling discouraged, all of a sudden that goes away. When you share your pain, you divide your pain. And when you divide your pain, it goes away and it turns into power. And this is really the ultimate way to be able to do that. And so once we get over here, we begin to line up our vision, because guess what? When I have a vision that's being debt free, making $50,000 a month, and I have a vision of abundance, I don't have time to be stuck in my current circumstance. When my vision is so big and so great that I don't have time to actually be stuck in my current circumstance. And so as you're watching this, think about how has your current situation or your current reality, have you been stuck in that? And are you having a hard time getting out of that place? And so the results you keep recreating are exactly what you don't want, versus, having this greater vision that's bigger than my current circumstance. And so, the vision that you may have, I know for a lot of people is they don't even have a vision for, certain parts of their life. They don't have a vision for their marriage. They don't have a vision for their, their body or their physical health. They don't have a vision for where they want to be spiritually. They don't have a vision for their business past the current circumstance that they're in. And so they end up just staying in that same exact place. And so you must borrow the vision of other areas of your life where you're successful. What I always say is most people have a vision in one area of life that's greater than their current circumstance. If you just learn to borrow that and leverage it in a different way. I'll see people, oftentimes, maybe they have a great marriage, but, their business isn't so good. Maybe they have a great, physical health, but maybe their business isn't so great. Maybe their business is amazing, but there's other parts of their life that aren't. Well, you're going to have to borrow the vision of another area of life you've been successful in and apply that into another place. And so, this is about just creating something greater. And so as you do this, you really get a look at what is my routine often when I'm feeling discouraged? What is my routine when I feel fear? What is my routine? And so when you start looking at that, you become aware. And rather than staying stuck in there, you can actually recreate a new routine. And this is one of the things that I've found is a simple process to where, sure, we're all going to feel discouragement. We're all going to feel worry at times. We're all going to feel fear, stress. That's not the problem. The problem is how long you're going to stay stuck in that. And that's where we really get in trouble. And so, some of the people that I work with, they've been stuck for months. They've been stuck for weeks. They've been stuck for, quarters. They've been stuck for years. And the longer I stay stuck in this, the more I make it a habit. And so imagine if you just made a habit of discouragement, for years. That means that every single day you're training yourself how to be discouraged. You're training yourself how to feel fear. You're training yourself how to feel stress. And if you don't learn how to unwind that or replace that, we can't replace discouragement with nothing. So imagine like this is your discouragement that you've been under for 3 to 5 years. You can't replace that with nothing. That means that we eventually have to fill this in with something else. And so imagine like this is your pit of discouragement. And so if we don't fill that back in with encouragement, then we have a void and we continue to be discouraged. And so the thing that I've always found to be true is, how do you get rid of a bad habit, or how do you get rid of a habit that doesn't give you what you want? You got to fill that back in. So imagine if we dug, a hole, of discouragement for the last 3 to 5 years. I would have to fill that void in with the positive opposite, or the opposite of that, which would be encouragement. And so, imagine if I dug a hole of being overweight for, 5 years, and maybe it was, I ate fast food. Okay. Maybe I didn't exercise. I would have to fill that void with, eating green vegetables, or making some different food choices. I'd have to fill that void with exercising. What's really cool is you may have been discouraged for 3 years. It's not going to take you three years to fill that whole void back up with encouragement. What's cool is you may not have worked out for 5 years, but guess what? You don't have to work out for 5 years to get that back. Oftentimes I see it's in a matter of, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Like, you can do a lot in 12 weeks, reverse a lot of damage that you've done in 8 to 12 weeks. For people who have been discouraged or been unhealthy for years, you can get a lot of that back in a matter of 8 to 12 weeks. And there's a lot of magic that can happen in this time. And so imagine if you could break free of something that you've been under for years in a matter of, 30 days, in a matter of 15 days. But this is one of the ways that I really started understanding how my mindset works. And so a lot of times people are like, well, listen, mindset's everything, but it's a lot of things. But if we don't understand how it works, if we don't understand how to break free of it, we can ultimately get stuck into this. But again, we want to start with your results. Listen, is my current circumstance greater than my vision? Well, if it's not, then I got to sit down and create an actual vision. And your vision can't be, I want to be discouragement free. It's got to be something greater than that, because it's stating what you know you don't want. And what I said is in the beginning of this is, if you know what you don't want more than what you do want, that's not a vision. That's a current circumstance. And so, breaking free of that current circumstance requires you to have a vision that's much greater than the current place that you're in, the current results that you have. And so by doing that, we have to recognize the trigger. We have to recognize the pain. And when we feel the pain, and remember this, pain, sometimes we get used to the pain. And when we stay in it long enough, we pretend that pain is actually normal. So if I was discouraged for years, even months, even sometimes 90 days to a quarter at a time, if I felt that, eventually if I'm not dealing with it, I may actually get used to the pain. If you think about people, that have been stuck in maybe back pain, knee pain, when you have it long enough, you actually don't feel it like you used to, until all of a sudden you don't have it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't recognize how much I was walking around in pain. So discouragement, fear, and stress are the same thing. When you get used to being in fear all the time, you don't recognize how bad it is until you actually break free of it. When you walk around and worry or doubt all the time, you don't recognize the pain of it until you break free of it. And so remember this, is even the slightest amount of pain can actually be a huge void and a huge pit in your life if you don't deal with it, especially for years, and this is where I think people, they get stuck in the pain because it's a normal pain that they've had for a while. And so they just learn to deal with it. They learn to kind of stuff it down. But if you really want to turn that into power and, ultimately develop some type of new routine for that, this is, ultimately what I've found, works very well and can help you break free faster. And this is really where, we begin to experience this breakthrough is right here, right between the result and right between the routine. And that is ultimately, how we do this. So if you guys are watching the replay, hashtag in the comments replay. leave a comment, leave any questions that you may have. But this is the simplest way that I've seen to really break free of, worry, fear, doubt, to break free of your current circumstance, to get on to your vision. And you might be sitting there saying, well, I don't really know what I want. Well, I get that. But like the problem with that is you're going to stay stuck in your current circumstance if you don't know what you want. And so I don't believe that people don't know what they want. I believe that they need the courage to actually go after it. And, a lot of times people mistake clarity. They say they want more clarity on their vision versus just having the courage to step forward in a vision that they already know they created. Because, clarity is most people know what they want. The difference is they're afraid to step forward and get it because they feel like something is holding them back. Fear, stress, discouragement. And this is really the way you can begin to do that. So guys, if you're watching this, let me know if you have questions. If you have any comments, drop them in the comments. If you're listening on the podcast replay, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys on Friday with the next episode, and we'll talk soon.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse